Welcome back to Eliances Heroes, where heroes in business align. To be part of our super community and find out more about Eliances, visit www.Eliances.com. Now, back to our super host, David Kogan, founder of Eliances.
Like, I have the best job ever. I get to interview these famous, cool people that have just done so much and continue to do so much. We started off the show with the co-founder of RX Bar. So what does he do? Starts the company a few years later, sells it to Kellogg for $600 million. And we just had on the co-founder of Ace Universe. He's coming to Phoenix, and he's going to be having the Stan Lee, the new Captain America, Spider-Man, Winter Soldier, and more. And later on in the show, we're going to have the former Mother of the Year. But let's get started with our next hero. That's right, he is the famous Nick Lowery, former Kansas City Chiefs Hall of Fame kicker, who has the most incredible foot that exists in the world, if not the universe. In fact, that's right, and he's wearing a famous cool gold and crystallized
bling. Yeah, for my posse. I'm wearing my bling bling for my
I love
hood.
it. I love it. Now, Nick, you know you've done a lot. You've been involved in a lot of projects. But what I want to talk to you today about is KannaWay. In fact, tell me about it. And you can reach, by the way, Nick at KannaWay.com. That's KannaWay.com.
Actually, I'm going to talk about KannaWay and Kanna Life Sciences. The reason I need to talk about both is Kanna Life Sciences is doing the research which is going to help save America's best game, football. And this is a personal venture for me, a passion for me, because my teammate for 2 years is one of the all-time great offensive linemen in history, Mike Webster. And if you watched the movie or heard about the movie Concussion, where Will Smith plays Dr. Bennett Amalu, you hear about this story, how he investigates the death of Mike Webster and the torment that he went through. And in the end, he diagnoses chronic traumatic encephalopathy, which took me about a year to pronounce. But that actually ends up being something we really are focused on now because of that movie and because of Mike Webster and because of people like Junior Seau and Kenny Stabler and others. And this is not about putting down football. Football is the most exciting sport. In fact, I always think of my game against Dub Bear, since you're from Chicago.
That's right.
And how incredible my career was, the experiences I had playing with Walter Payton and Joe Montana and Derek Thomas and all those greats. But this is about saving the game by helping reduce significantly the concussions and the literal and figurative impact of concussions.
And how does it do that?
Well, CBDs, and I'm talking not about marijuana, I'm talking about hemp. Hemp is a different plant. It looks like bamboo. It's almost 20 feet high. It grows 9 centimeters a day, and it has very low THC. David, I actually worked in the White House Drug Abuse Policy Office for Ronald Reagan many years ago when I was only 2 years old, of course. And all we ever heard about was THC, which is the psychotropic thing that everybody makes, all the jokes about. Right. But in truth, hemp is very low in THC. There are 147 other cannabinoids, and Stanford University, UCLA Torrance, the Salk Institute, all of these have come out with studies. There are actually 23,000 studies on the effects of cannabinoids and things that derive from cannabis, which is not just marijuana. We're talking about hemp, which is legal in all 50 states. And the Salk Institute, Dr. David Schubert, Dr. Julius Axelrod, who's found out and developed incredible studies that have shown that CBDs help neuroplasticity. Stanford University, which has shown that actual deficiency, not having enough CBDs that are derived from hemp in your body, are a cause of dementia and Alzheimer's. And look at medicine, David, in the last 50, 60 years. What are the things we've witnessed? Huge increases in autism, in opioid issues, in cancer, in concussions, all these things that the traditional medicine have done some great things with. But what is different about hemp, what's different about CBDs is they govern the regulatory systems of the body. They govern the metabolic system, the brain itself. The Salk Institute, Dr. David Schubert, found that not only is there neuroplasticity, which is helping the cells in the brain become more resilient to impact, but actually there may be neurogenesis. Neurogenesis means actually regenerating neurons in the brain. And those of us that are getting older, we're thinking, it's only going to get worse for me because I'm getting older. Now we have news that actually suggests that people can get stronger mentally, physically, but in the brain itself, the last frontier, more than Star Trek itself out there in space, the last frontier is this brain itself, and it governs all our decisions, all our quality of life.
So we're talking with Nick Lowery, and you can reach him at KannaWay.com. That's KannaWay.com. And you're listening to me, David Kogan, host of the Eliances.
The man.
Eliances Hero Show.
The Superman.
The only place where entrepreneurs
My hero.
align. So Nick, the thing is there's so much information out there, and people go on the internet, they see positive, they see negative. I mean, how do we best get educated on this type of stuff, especially when it concerns hemp and so on?
Well, first of all, KannaWay has products that have 0 THC, but I'll give you the legal difference between marijuana right now, and you're going to see stuff in the news about Jeff Sessions and marijuana in the next few days, including today. The Ninth Circuit in San Francisco, in a ruling against the DEA, and I used to work with the DEA in that offseason in 1988 for President Reagan, said that hemp, if it's produced outside the country, 1, 2, if it's only the stem, stock, and seeds, and they're naturally occurring CBDs, they're not created in the lab, and 3, it's less than 0.3% THC. For instance, a marijuana cigarette these days is 15 to 20% THC. So this is like 1/50th, even 100th. And we also have products that have 0 THC because all those other things, all those other cannabinoids are unbelievably helpful to regulating the body. And as we get older, we lose some of that mental facility, sometimes because of damage, because of head injuries, because of nutrition itself. But the more that our body can regulate itself, the healthier we are and the more we sustain quality of life, even into our hundreds.
So tell me about some of the topical things. What are the topical that people are talking about that they put on?
Well, I'll tell you, we have a product with KannaWay, which is a salve. And my friend Pete Koch, who played with the Raiders and with me on the Chiefs, like a lot of players, like Jim McMahon, a friend of mine who lives here, who's been in the news, another Chicago guy, had neck issues. My friend Christian Corey, neck issues. When you put the salve on, it's incredibly effective. It's called transdermal, right? It goes right through to where you need it. I actually have, after almost 20 years in the NFL, playing on the old artificial turf, have a replaced ankle, replaced knee, and replaced left shoulder, all on my left side.
I would never know. I would never know. In fact, because Nick, you're such an energetic guy. Where do you get all this energy from? And show me your foot. I want to see your foot. Let me see the famous kicker foot. Hold on.
Okay.
Let me see this famous.
This is a little strange, but it's okay. Let's do it.
Look at this. Come on. Look at this. Right here.
Right there it is.
I love it. I got to touch the famous foot. So
and that's the famous ankle that got replaced. But the replacement by Dr. Jerry Steck in Tucson, it was designed for somebody more like 180 pounds. I'm 220 pounds. And I put the salve on because I'm a little heavier than some. I'm in reasonably good shape now, and because I can work out again. But that takes away that stress. So there are transdermal ways to do it. There's sublingual ways to do it. There are the normal pills that you can use. There's even vaping itself, which some say is good because you can get into the lungs and bypass the digestive system and get into your bloodstream. And some people that are, a friend of mine, Todd Ritchie, is a top distance runner, mega distance runner, and he does that, helps his lungs. So there are many ways, but what I want to emphasize is it's a huge difference between hemp, which has a clear sailing if it's produced outside this country. It's legal in all 50 states. All 50 states. I can't say that enough. Versus marijuana, which has, some success in about 15, 20 states in terms of medicinal use and then some legalization in a number of states as well. But it's still a battleground. And I want to avoid that. The reason being, I want to get these products to as many football players as possible, not just NFL players, but to the mothers and fathers and coaches. You know how many mothers and fathers become coaches in Little League football, and make sure that they've done everything they can to protect their kids. That's what you want to do as a mother and a father. Make sure your kid's given every chance to be healthy and to learn the lessons of life. And football does teach those lessons about hard work, about being a superhero when all the chips are down. And you got to kick that game-winning field goal. You got to lead the team down the field like Jim McMahon with the Chicago Bears did so many times. That's what football teaches is getting it done through incredible adversity. Because if there's one thing we all share on this show, and all your guests today will, I think, agree. It's adversity. How do we deal with adversity, make good choices, and find some consistency emotionally to have joy in life despite the ups and downs?
Well, Nick, absolutely incredible. You're a leader. You continue to work towards creating unity in the community. You're forging a path for those dealing with head injury and more. Nick Lowery, you can reach him at KannaWay.com, KannaWay.com. Nick Lowery, David Kong with the Eliances, and when we return, the Mother of the Year, the former Mother of the Year, Lori Roberts.